Hi there, I'm Stan Baker, one of the hosts for Circle Forum, along with Shelley Steele and Steve Young. In this episode, we're discussing some research on positive greetings at the door. What I really enjoyed is here's finally some research about something that intuitively we know works well for students. And I think learning and understanding more about the research behind this, but just about positive greetings at the door, is really important because it can help you to create that sense of belonging for students at school, and that leads to improved student attendance. Now, if you're currently dealing with a lot of student absenteeism, then this episode is for you because it can help you and the teachers in your school implement, wait for it, a low-cost, high-yield strategy. Who doesn't want that? Some of the main topics we'll be covering include using a student's name builds a sense of belonging, something that's so important for student attendance. Secondly, it's simple. And thirdly, teachers could and can do this. Now, at the end of the episode, make sure you visit our website, www.restorative.ca. Send me an email to stan@restorative.ca, and be sure to subscribe if you like this on YouTube Circle Forum. Now, let's head over to the conversation already rolling with Shelley, Steve, and me, Stan. Research about positive greetings at the door shows that there's improved academic engagement and reduced disruptive behavior as a result of this greeting at the door, which is something you want to do proactively, right?
Absolutely. And we've talked a lot about the proactive strategies of building classroom climate, school climate, building relationships. Be proactive. Take the initiative to go out and do certain things. And simply greeting kids at the door as they come into your classroom, or at the door as a principal, greeting kids as they came in the front door of the building every morning. If nothing else, I got to know a lot of kids that I wouldn't necessarily see for the negative reasons. I saw them in the positive way. So I got to know a lot more kids in the school. But it makes you feel welcome as you're walking in a building as an adult. If you're walking in a building and somebody greets you by name, you immediately feel welcome in that environment. And what a
Yeah, they
great way
want
for
me
kids to
here.
feel.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, you were saying they want me here, right?
Yes, they want me. There's that sense of belonging, which we know is huge in attendance, as well as what restorative practices does to support is that sense of belonging. And a teacher, administrator, any school staff can kind of stand outside where their usual spot is, whether you're in an office or wherever, and just be out there while the people are coming in. And that's staff as well that like to be greeted and have a smile. But anytime there's movement of students, just being out there just gives you a great sense of what's happening in the school, a feeling if there's things going down, you're going to be able to pick up on it as well. But yes, that greeting is key, and it's another connecting point for students and stuff.
So what's in it for me as a teacher is that I get an emotional read on every single student that's coming in. I can do a quick check-in. I can also get a sense of, oh, this individual is having a rough start to the day. Better take it nice and easy. Or this student is they have a story that we've got to get out before we get going, right? Those
Right.
kinds of things you can pick up right away.
Yeah. It's not just standing at your door. It's more than that, right? When we're greeting people, it means we've got our face up, lit, perhaps, hopefully a smile. Our body is saying, welcome, I'm glad you're here. Because students, particularly those that struggle, read all that information in a split second as they're coming in. So you need to be aware as the adult what you're putting out there. We know we can read this stuff, but the kids that really struggle read it very quickly, and it will set a tone to what's going to happen in the next few minutes in the classroom.
Yeah, I don't think the title of it needs to be taken literally. You must be greeting people at your door. It means greeting people as you meet them. I recall teachers who would circulate around the classroom. Very first thing as kids came in, they're getting their stuff, would walk around the classroom and say, "Good morning, how are you?" and talk about things. It's greeting people. But I was going to say the converse, of course, is at the end of the day, as people are leaving, what are you saying to students as they're leaving? Are you
Right.
saying goodbye, have a nice night? I'm glad, we had a great day together. Thank you. Are you in your mind thinking, I just glad these kids are leaving. I want to get home myself. And, we always kiddingly talk about the teachers that are part of the 320 track club. You know, they're out the door before the kids are. there's some value in them staying around and talking to kids at the end of the day as the kids are at their lockers. You're going out and talking to your kids in your class, and the kids are at the coat hooks or whatever grade they are, and just talking about how their day went, how, what was the best part of your day, and asking some of those leading questions. It's proactively building connections and relationships with those kids. So it's not just about the beginning of the day. It's also about the end of the day too. And as they're leaving, and it's amazing how many kids will say, well, you have a nice night too, Mr. Whoever. And they're starting to learn social conventions. What a great thing to teach kids.
So, in terms of restorative practice, how can restorative practice help to implement this strategy that actually positively impacts student attendance?
Well, I think if you're doing classroom circles, which we highly encourage, you're already gaining some information about your students, about their likes, dislikes. So to be able to build that into your greeting in the morning would be very inviting, even more inviting and welcoming that, oh, he remembered that I had a hockey game last night or whatever it is. And then now we've got another connecting point.
And also when you know, restorative practices talks about making those affirming statements. I'm really glad you're here today. I'm glad to see you're back after you've been away. And it's things like that, affirm for kids that they're valued in that place. And whether you make that statement sometime through the day, in a classroom circle, just quietly at their desk as you're working your way around the room as a teacher, or in the hallway as they're just arriving in the morning. So making those positive affect statements really makes a difference. The effectiveness of that in terms of making kids feel welcome is it's almost immeasurable. It's hard for kids to put it into words to how they feel when they know the teachers care. The other thing I was going to mention earlier is that in an elementary school, especially in the rural areas where there's not a lot of turnover, you might have, if you're a grade 1 teacher, you're starting to see kids as they're in grade 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and you taught them in grade 1. And if you're still saying good morning to them, hi, how are you? Good to see you back. How's grade 7 going? Those kids really feel like they're part of that school community because their grade 1 teacher and their grade 2 teacher still talk to them and say good morning to them. It's not, hey, I had them in grade 1, I never have to see them again kind of a thing. And likewise, as a grade 7 and 8 teacher, and I did this as a strategy, and I was, called to task for it on a number of occasions. I always put my grade 7 and 8 teachers on duty in the primary yard. They did yard duty. They're in the primary yards. And one of them asked me once, why am I in the primary yard? I don't even know these kids. And I said, well, that's why you're in the primary yard. Get to know them, start talking to them, have some fun, and build those relationships when they're in grade 1, 2, and 3. Because if you're here at the school when they're in grade 7, you're going to have them in grade 7, and now you already know them. So it's about being proactive and building some relationships. Just talk to them and say good morning.
What I love about this research is that it's really kind of researched common sense. We talk about this all the time, greeting people by name at the door before they start, the students start. And here's the research to back up the fact that you're going to have better performance and engagement and less disruptive behavior. And so who wouldn't want that as a teacher? I'm investing a few minutes of my time and really giving the gift of my attention to every student that comes in. And the payoff is huge afterwards. We just can't put enough emphasis on the importance of building connections with schools for that sense of belonging. It's part of this research, and it's a big part of restorative practices. Survey of teachers says it's feasible, it's reasonable, it's acceptable. So let's get going with this low cost, high yield strategy that builds engagement, reduces disruptive behavior, and in the longer term, improves student attendance. Find out more about our restorative work that can build attendance. Check out our website, www.restorative.ca. Email me, stan@restorative.ca. And let's welcome every student at the door of every classroom.